Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something that feels, well, pretty fundamental. Navigating this so-called post-truth era. And our guide for this deep dive, it's actually the scientific method itself. We're leaning heavily on the work of science journalist Elizabeth Finkel, her book, Prove It.
Yeah, and it feels like a really necessary mission right now.
Yeah.
Finkel, she's a former biochemist, co-founder of Cosmos magazine. She wrote the book because, well, she was alarmed. She saw this whole process of how we build reliable knowledge really under threat.
Right.
So our goal here is to dig into, how science actually works, how it creates knowledge, how it pushes us to think critically, and hold our own assumptions up to the light.
Okay, so let's define this threat then, the post-truth era. It's more than just people having different opinions, isn't it?
Oh, much more. It's this observation that public conversations, they often feel fundamentally, well, unscientific. The problem is that the very idea of seeking objective facts and actually testing them rigorously, that itself is under attack. Finkel actually quotes a populist influencer, Erica Nolan, who apparently just said flat out, facts no longer matter.
Wow.
Yeah, and added that, in her view, everything can be manipulated. So when skepticism gets turned on the very possibility of objective reality, well, that's a crisis. It's an epistemological crisis.
Okay, so the sources, they seem to outline a pattern here. Specific actions showing this assault isn't random. It hits the institutions we rely on. We see examples cited, things like executive orders against government fact-checking, moves to defund public broadcasting. What's the systemic effect of that kind of thing?
Well, it's quite fascinating, and maybe a bit scary, how quickly capability can degrade when that happens. The attack isn't just about, silencing voices you don't like. It seems aimed at dismantling the actual infrastructure that creates knowledge in the first place.
Infrastructure like funding.
Exactly. We see this with proposed funding cuts mentioned in the material, like a massive 40% cut suggested for the National Institutes of Health.
40%.
40%. That wouldn't just stop future discoveries in cancer, Parkinson's, you name it. It would gut existing research teams, just devastate current capacity.
And the sources say these effects ripple outwards, globally, threatening collaboration.
That's right. The materials mention U.S. funding threats that added up to hundreds of millions in Australian dollars targeting joint science projects. And these aren't just, academic exercises. They're about shared strategic capabilities. Think defense tech, public health research. These things need continuous funding and exchange to work.
Okay, but let's push on this a bit. Is it fair to label every controversial appointment as an attack on science? Or are they sometimes just, political appointments people disagree with? The sources cite RFK Jr.'s appointment as health secretary, given his vaccine skepticism. How does that fit?
That's a really crucial distinction to make. The analysis in the source material isn't really about